Duh. It's kind of the whole point.
Is it?
Record?
Record some videos, some audios.
Oh, right now it's audio.
There's no video. We're strictly an audio-only podcast at the moment.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
We grow it.
Welcome for the first ever Sometimes Crypto podcast.
This is Alex
I am William, and we are your hosts.
for this unscripted crypto podcast.
Let's hit it.
Well, we're going to be talking about crypto, obviously. Sometimes.
Sometimes,
Right.
not always. We'll see how it goes.
We have a variety of things that we like talking about. We might have some interjections of those, sidebars, tangents,
Very long tangents.
very good tangents. Our conversations, I think, will get more interesting over time, and I would already consider them to be quite interesting as it is.
I assume this would be the bottom, and we only go up.
Only go up from here.
There's, like the markets, they only ever go up. Pay no attention to what's going on right now.
They know
We're only going
we're
up
working.
from
As long as there's progress and movement going forward,
here. Be fine.
upwards is the way. All right, so I think it's time to introduce ourselves a little bit besides just our names.
Yeah, like what we do.
You want to go first, or do I go first?
You can go first.
All right, cool. My name's Alex. I've been studying crypto since 2012. Well, that's kind of actually when I first heard about it in 2012. Really got into it 2017 after the big crash. I was like, oh, a lot of people lost a lot of money in this. Let's see what's up. And from there on, I started learning a little bit more about technology. I'm not an expert, at least I don't think I am. There's always someone who knows more. And I'm always learning. That's why I'm wanting to do this podcast. So we could always be having conversations, picking our brains, and opening ourselves up to criticism as well as outside information in which we develop our
Character.
yeah. I try to implement tech solutions for different companies. For specifically right now, the one that I'm working at is like my main focus. But ideally, I'd like to start helping other companies do this as well. Implement any type of tech stack into their industry. But I think I really think crypto is going to be leading the playing field in the next couple of years. So let's see how that goes. We'll definitely be talking about it on this podcast.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
This is my turn.
Yeah, go for it.
Awesome sauce. I'm William. I not the same as him. Was not into crypto that much early on. He always talked about it very early on, as he said, 2012. I got into it right before pandemic. Alex really started talking to me about it. I was getting interested, and then pandemic hit. Way too much free time. Had to do something. We made money during the pandemic.
Went down the rabbit hole.
Went down the rabbit hole. I majored in finance, so I like that side of things, understanding markets, movements, which we're going, and not really predicting. Hopefully, just making better educated guesses and understanding how things work. And I like crypto because I see the very different implementations we could have in the future and early on. I'm not a maximist like our friend over here, though. He's a Bitcoin maxi for sure.
There's a lot of functionalities for cryptos in the future. I wouldn't consider myself a maxi, but I would say Bitcoin's the leader, hands down.
You see this guy? Close enough.
Hands down, it's got it right. But yeah, like we said, there's a lot of functionality in crypto coming up. Well, not even coming up, live in uses today. That functionality will just strictly start expanding from here on out. And I think the only thing we talked about really for this podcast is that we wanted to introduce ourselves and then follow up with like a little brief overview of where we think crypto is going to be going in the next 5-10 years.
He says overview. I don't agree with him. I want to go more in depth in some topics. He just says overview. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, as long as we talk about some points, be like bam bam.
Yeah, we're gonna be practicing. We'll get better, promise. It's like some things are scripted, some are not. This for the most part, is off the dome.
It's off the dome.
We'll see how that goes.
All right. So, first use for crypto.
There's first use. I think there's so many uses. I want to talk about my favorite use case scenario.
Oh, okay. No, I meant like first use.
What do you mean first use?
Currency.
What is
Exchange value.
What about exchange? Right?
That was what it was originally created to do. Exchange of tokens.
Yes, to make it easier, like money but easier.
Yeah, exactly. Like money, more secure, easier,
Decentralized, not controlled by any one person.
Fast.
Faster.
Yeah.
Bitcoin isn't fast.
Oh, compared
It's faster.
It's significantly faster. Multitudes.
This is true. I'm saying it's faster. I'm saying
there's faster ones, obviously.
there's a few.
Right. So, what is your most favorite use case?
My most favorite use case. I like it for the housing market. NFTs in specifically, ownership, and just like adding that royalty aspect very early on.
Royalty aspect. So an NFT is a non-fungible token.
Yes.
A unique piece that cannot be exchanged for. There's no exact equivalent for that token.
Like houses.
Like properties.
Exactly. There's any sort of real estate.
Exactly. So NFTs for houses, for property.
There's like the endless amount of uses. You can have it in leasing, selling, renting. Well, leasing, renting.
Well, I was curious about that royalty aspect. Well, how would you implement royalties for
It depends how it is. What you mean?
Not for NFTs. I meant for real estate.
For real estate?
Yeah.
You can just make it that if you're a developer, you'll get 2% out of every time the house is sold. And it could be going to a fund for
a developer or
fund,
like a community.
Or a community. Either way, you could 1,000 ways to play off with it.
A gated community.
Exactly. If it's in a gated community, it automatically gets deducted and it gets taken to the community treasury and it supports X. Like in Vegas, they have a racetrack within a community and everyone pays the HOA for the racetrack to maintain it, have the pits, everything set up for the cars. You can NFT that so that it does automatically. There is no need to have a delay.
Yeah. So with cryptocurrencies, there came a new thing called smart contracts, where it's pretty much called like programmable money, where if certain transactions were to be done, another action will be taking place right as that's going on. And what William was talking about with the community wallets is that since we have this money that works digitally now, we have a form of holding it in a treasury that can be controlled by more than just one centralized organization or individual,
or by like HOA members.
Exactly. Not just one person in the community who has access to the bank account and can just make the transfer and go running off with it, not knowing where that money went to.
Exactly.
Where with one of the community wallets, you could have multi signatures, like have multiple people have to sign off on a transaction, and any transaction that does get made on the blockchain will forever be placed on
it's written down, so we know where it would be going to, where it's moved to.
So like from that point on, the money will be traceable.
Yeah.
So that's one of the key features of blockchain and digital money. It's the traceability of it.
Also, we're going to be talking, I will be talking, I assume the majority of people know what we're talking about. If you do not, please follow along. There will be future, hopefully, episodes going over what are smart contracts, NFTs, and everything else.
Yeah. There's just so many things to go over. Yeah. It's going to be fun.
So, one assumption is we're going to assume you know what it is. If you don't, we'll be sure to touch on it at some point.
It'll be Absolutely. There'll be one episode like it'll go deep down on
those will be scripted.
on those topics.
Less unscripted.
Yeah, less unscripted. We really want to make sure everyone would understand.
Yeah, what it is.
Exactly what it is. For the most part, now if there's something that we think that might not be understood,
we'll explain.
Give some brief. Sweet.
So I talked about mine. What's your favorite use case or scenario for it?
I personally like the voting aspect of things for those communities. we could implement ways of voting on anything. Since everything's distributed and accounted for on the blockchain, I think a very reasonable application for it would be to any voting that's done in government buildings or for government uses can be used on the blockchain.
Yeah, but they'll probably create their own chain or their own sort of their own coin for that, like they're currently trying to do.
I can't speak what individual entities will try to do for.
Well, I meant for the government.
Yeah.
It has to be uniform, and I assume for those cases.
But it is something that's doable, voting. And the reasons why I like voting on the blockchain is because we don't have this issue of where did someone turn in multiple ballots? Because we would know where the ballots came from which wallet.
Question. For the voting aspect, if it's anonymous, how will we know who it is? Or we're just going to assume, because the census isn't accurate, we're just taking a brief, large count. With the wallets, we don't know who's who.
Yeah, so there would need to be, so
you have to have your voter ID that you log into with the wallet.
Yeah, so there would have to be some type of verification to make sure that one wallet is associated per person.
Exactly.
Or one person is only associated to one wallet. And from that point, it's in a way your social security number.
Our voter ID though does that now. You would just have to log in, for example, a government page that is on the blockchain. You log in with a wallet. It doesn't have to be whatever wallet, and you have to log in with your voter ID.
Yeah. So no,
and it has a one-time login.
You wouldn't be accessing the voter card when you need it.
I'm saying you use that code the voter card has to access the one wallet that identifies as one person.
Okay. Because the way that I thought it would be going down would be an NFT would be sent from an original source from the minter to individual wallets that have been I want to accept my voter card here.
Same thing. It's literally the same thing. It's just one's by mail, one's by NFT.
Yeah.
Same thing. We'll be doing the same function, just on chain, less fuckery. Less people can mess around with it.
Yep, so that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. I think that'll be interesting.
Not the fun stuff. I'm going to be honest.
No, that was not fun. That was
You're not picking fun stuff. You're just picking
that was not fun.
Logical use case.
Yeah.
I'm here
we're
going to make money off of it and put in a community for a racetrack. And you're here just we're going to vote.
Yeah.
I support.
I like voting. I want to make sure everyone votes.
Gets it.
Yeah.
I will solve all the political issues we have.
Yeah. It won't. I don't know if it will solve all of it, but
it was true. I don't think anyone will solve all the political issues we have.
Yeah. No. There's no one thing. Well, the next thing that I like is for gaming. There's a lot of NFTs being
created for gaming and
purposes.
Skins too.
Skins for avatars, plots of land in
metaverses,
and video games. Trading cards for battling
also
games.
Play to earn.
Most of these games, or quite most all of them, would be play to earn games, because since there would be blockchain cryptocurrencies would create an
ecosystem within it that you can to purchase within
an ecosystem.
It's literally the same thing as regular gaming, just adding a real world
a third party market,
that you can trade on.
Yeah, something inside there.
I hate to bring it up, RuneScape was back in
RuneScape. Yeah,
I never played. I think I played it once, but similar idea.
Yeah, I think you could trade within players and have a live market.
Peer-to-peer.
However, with RuneScape is you're still based off of that industry's.
Yeah, it's limited to that digital space versus here wouldn't be.
Yeah, blockchain would allow for more
global.
Yeah, more open interoperability.
What did you just say?
Interoperability.
That's a fucking big word, dude.
Yeah, so I could have probably pronounced it better. So the two different ecosystems could become operable within each other. So they could work together.
Okay.
So this metaverse sandbox could potentially be operated with Minecraft. So you could have plots of lands in sandbox that looks just like Minecraft.
Okay.
Type as an example. Yeah. So or bringing in a Halo sword into Skyrim.
That'd be wild.
That'd be super cool. Yeah.
That'll be wild.
People would pay a lot for like,
A Halo Sword and Skyrim. I would pay lots of time with Halo Sword and Skyrim. Maybe. I mean, people pay for skins now.
but like the cool thing is that like you can make it so that, well, this sword would obviously have to come from someone playing that Halo game.
I'm playing Halo, and they have to be willing to sell it to someone playing a Skyrim game.
Or skilled enough to get it.
Why skilled enough?
Because, well, there's a new game coming out now. It's called Big Time.
Okay.
Where it's kind of like a Diablo type, where you're in a dungeon and you
Never played Diablo, by the way.
I've seen people play it. I've never played it myself, but it's like this dungeon, open, random generating map.
Okay.
Where you just have monsters and bosses that you battle, and by doing this, if you're like, let's say you're the first person to kill this monster, you get the first drop. That first drop happens to be a legendary weapon, and then after that, every like 1,000th person or so that kills that legendary, that kills that boss could unlock another one of those random weapons. Legendary weapons, exactly. So like there's a drop rate.
Yeah, and then those weapons are tradable on an open market.
Exactly. So you have to be skilled enough to beat this extremely powerful boss,
and then be lucky enough that drops on you.
Exactly. And then you have this NFT that represents rarity in the game.
In the game, you can sell it.
Exactly. So like, let's say I'm a new player, and this weapon gives you plus 1,000 damage, and be like, oh, I don't mind paying some money and getting the sword and using it.
But the sword wouldn't. But you wouldn't be able to cross game with it like you're talking about.
Well,
Skyrim. Like,
no, that's more difficult, and it's not.
That's not way more difficult.
Yeah, but it's something that people are actively working on doing.
Yeah, for sure. But also the games at that point have to be
it has to
made in a way to bridge them.
Yeah,
like creators of those games that make millions of dollars on have to be willing to allow their IP to be sold like that.
Well, yeah. So like in this future market, the protocol that would dictate how the games are to operate would be based off of the chain itself. It's not an easy. It's not an easy.
I see new developments being made in that sense, but you won't have older games being put on.
Oh yeah,
on public chains at least.
No. Older games would be
will be in the same system.
Yeah, it'd be more
better yet.
Unlikely.
I think companies will adapt and create their own like their own games
chains or platforms.
Well, they're already opening up to play open source between all consoles. So it'll maybe be just like a console thing, like you're tradable between all these consoles. Type of thing. Would it be a fully open market?
Yeah, well,
which is like if it's on the exchange itself, or like what were you saying? Decentralized one, it's global. That might be another aspect of it.
Yeah, granted that interoperability between games, it is much further down on like the roadmap.
Yeah.
Right now, the main thing is like you have ownership of the things that you earn within the game. Yeah, your skins, your weapons, your character overall could be.
So it can be taken away from you. Type of thing.
Yeah, it resides in your wallet. And then whenever you're using the game, it's just
you can load it up.
Yeah, exactly. It's just pulling the information. It's like,
which one? Played one of these games?
Yeah, I played a couple.
I haven't attempted. I've never gaming to me is whatever.
Yeah,
I know it's a big industry. I'm
not too big into games right now either, so I haven't really like delved deep. There is one that I found that I downloaded on my phone. It's called Splinterlands. I've only played one game on it, like one round. I don't understand the game yet, but I read all the rules. I didn't realize that the gameplay worked the way it did.
So I think that's like maybe part of it too. Like some of these games like take a lot more technical knowledge. Depending.
Actually, this game, no, you could download it, play it, not know it's a crypto game. And then at some point you'll probably want to connect. You'll catch on to this as a crypto game because like I said, I only played one game, and any player, any gamer could pick this up and learn it quite intuitively.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk about more on like wallet side. If you
yeah, the technical aspect of it is a little bit more of a challenge. Well, that's the challenge we're facing now for
onboarding.
Just onboarding people, like getting
people comfortable using it. It's all about comfort. Like what I said a while back is, I'll say now, is how I talked about currencies. How we had currencies for 1,000 years, and after that time period, we integrated trading, a form of trading, and we had a dollar. and we moved it from standard to standard until we got the credit cards.
Well, yeah, because we had like checks before credit cards.
Exactly.
And people were like, "Oh, like, how do I use this check?"
How do you use it? Yeah, and how do you use this card? And what is this? It's digital.
And then I mean, a more recent example would be like Apple Pay. Like, like, do I connect my phone to my wallet to the phone?
Exactly. So it's like we had cash for X amount of time throughout our life. Then we had cards, checks. That was an X amount of time. So we're currently living with more Web3 and cryptography aspects of life than older generations who have had cash and all these other things. So that process is just everyone born now onward.
Oh, they're gonna pick it up like it's
light work.
Yeah.
Everyone from this point backwards, it takes way more time.
Like if people start using Brave browser over Google Chrome, and like just using the internet, you're already integrating your crypto into it.
Yeah, but I feel like it's
passive. It's not something that you have to like active. It's not like an active learning process. It's just like, oh, this is a feature that I could use.
I feel like it's just it's how easy it is to use these things that we've already integrated to like our day-to-day use. It's like why people love Apple, because it's once you have one thing Apple, you're able to create you get everything else Apple.
Yeah,
it all works.
Yeah, when there's a whole actual like
ecosystem it works seamlessly.
Yeah.
Once you leave that, it's hard to. If you switch phones, you leave the entire ecosystem. You're like, God dang it, I leave all this other stuff.
Yeah,
it's like a hassle to switch off and expensive. Same idea.
But then once you realize that it has so many options and things that you can do with, you're like, okay, this could actually work. I remember reading a tweet the other day where someone's like, oh, Bitcoin's boring. It has all like Ethereum has all these like opportunities and what you could do with it and like in like its toolbox. And some Bitcoin maxi goes, oh, money should be simple. Like boring, easy.
Oh yeah, I think the tax system should be. I think there's so many things that are complicated. It should be so simple.
Yeah, like
taxes should be easy, straightforward. A donkey could do it. Money should be simple. A donkey could understand how money works. Things should be insurance simple. Red tape makes everything complicated.
At least like for the use case of it, like being able to use it.
Yeah,
being able to use it should be second nature.
Which it's currently not at. Insurance and Web3 have also interesting aspects.
Yeah, that's a good use case.
Yeah, one of the ones I saw was one of the examples I read about was if you're a farmer, you're in Arizona, you grow, I don't know, I'm a butcher, corn. If it could grow there, great. If it can't, great. We're growing corn. You've had 3 dry days. You've had 3 days of extreme heat. Your corn dies. You lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. You have insurance for it. That insurance to process that takes months through our current system. Like, oh, why did it die? What was it? What was that? Apart from the fact that there were 3 consecutive days of heat, that's the reason. They're like, no, there has to be something else.
No, and then on top of that, they might not be like, oh no, we only cover up to this. Because even though your statement says otherwise,
exactly,
they'll be like, oh no, this is what you're getting.
Versus if it's a smart contract, it's already played. If there are 3 extreme heat days that go over this amount of heat for consecutive, let's say 3 days, 4 days, whatever, and your crop ends up dying, and this is how it's going to happen, and that transaction happens seamlessly because it's automatically taken out from your wallet, just complete switch.
Yeah.
If it reaches those records, and if it's open source, it would have that information already being grasped, so you wouldn't have to shoot the claim yourself. It does it automatically. Because it registers, oh, in the weather channel, 3 days of high heat, corn has most likely died, payout. Type of thing.
Yeah, or like it'd probably be paying off like some type of percentage or something.
Yeah, depending.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's one
I think Mark Cuban talked about something similar to that about
could have been him.
No, but he didn't use, at least from what he was talking about his personal with the arena that the Mavericks play at.
Okay.
They're like, he said that he was trying to either write the contract himself, or like he was learning Solidity so he could audit it. Or,
yeah, he is learning. He's like, I don't want to learn it, but I have to because it's the only way I can do it.
Yeah. But essentially, he was saying like, oh, let's say there's a of a hurricane that's coming by, and we have to be closed for X amount of days, like should be an insurance payoff, because that's godly, like that's unnatural. That's a weather thing. An act of God is what I was looking for.
Okay.
So that should be like an insurance payoff thing. And he was talking about like, I had 3 days of rain that had to be closed for. I'm paying insurance to cover losses,
any
and
losses.
that's a loss. So
Yeah, that's another way.
yeah, no, at least right now, the two industries that I do think will be affected the most would be insurance and real estate.
Oh yeah,
Like those are two huge
gaming
industries.
is gonna take longer to catch up. But that's gonna be not catch up, but like
Gaming's like
fans.
gaming's like a hype thing. Like people get on gaming because it's fun, it's entertaining.
Yeah, we need to have good games. Like
oh yeah,
the game need to start getting
that's
better.
why I'm excited for the big time game. That game looks fun. Like
Yeah?
like I'm considering just like going back into gaming for that game.
I'm excited to see what like big name game might go on blockchain first. Like if any go on it.
Well, Minecraft had some like plots of land, like chunks, as NFTs. I don't think. Okay, so it is called NFT Worlds, I believe, is the name of the project, and it wasn't sponsored by Minecraft, but they worked. Mojang worked with the people to be able to allow these chunks to be playable within the actual like platform.
Okay.
And the idea was like, oh, I want to buy this plot of land that's either in its raw state or someone's altered it so that it has a certain infrastructure on
So
it.
I keep its altered state.
So you could keep its altered state if you want, or you could like buy the use. You could buy the actual plot of land, or you could rent the use of it.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So like you could create your own world map based off of like different plots of like chunks that people have worked on.
Oh, why they should implement a way that you can like create your own NFT out of your world.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what it is, but like in chunk sizes, like 16 by 16 blocks.
Oh, I want to do that with mine. My world's kind of fat.
Yeah, of course. Well, you could do it. I don't like.
Yeah,
But
they did it. I would like
Mojang actually decided to cut off ties with the NFT world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what I think they realized was that there's a lot of third-party transactions going on, like,
And there's the money out.
and they're not. It's not that they're losing money. It's just they're not making money off of it because it's not their property.
Yeah, that's why you in that code add a 10% royalty that gets paid out to Mojang.
That's what I think would be like an easy solution. Like, be like, oh, I just add a royalty to it.
That's what makes the most sense to me. That's what how NFTs got popular is when all these artists started posting.
These people made the game. If you're buying into a property of that game, you want that game to continue development.
Yeah.
You should be perfectly fine with paying your due, your tax. That's what a tax is.
Yeah.
They'd be like, look, I'm gonna give you some money because we're helping each other. I'm developing on the land, and you're just making sure that the land stays relevant.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. That's gonna be an interesting space that develops over time for sure.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Real estate, insurance,
Gaming.
voting.
Oh yeah, voting. Wasn't fun for me.
You're like,
Wasn't fun.
It doesn't seem all that interesting.
It's not. It's just voting. It's already boring enough.
It'd be cool if we could make it more interesting.
Right.
All right. What other use cases do you have, or that you see blockchain and cryptocurrencies like starting to be what use cases do you see will be start being implemented into cryptocurrencies and blockchains?
State insurance. We wrote a few. I forgot the ones we wrote down.
Well, there was one that you were particularly fond of.
Did I?
Yeah, on Solana.
Oh, Solana Pay?
Yeah,
I'm not fond of it. It's just like a payment system. Like I said, those are the boring ones.
those are good ones.
I understand that.
Those are
It's okay.
useful.
Nah, I have to read more about it. But essentially, it's just a payment system. It's
Oh, so it's like just like a payment terminal, like a
payment terminal.
Terminal,
Yeah,
like-
that but they're trying to set up for business.
point of sale.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're trying to set up for business. Like you sign up with their with Solana on their website to work on the beta version of it in your store, and they'll help you
Oh, really?
what it takes to set up and all that. But you have to partner up with them.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then it just transacts. The idea is Solana is faster than any other payment method we have, so it would be able to cancel out transactions fastest. The only problem is it's very
Make sure people get paid is the idea of fast
essentially.
payment.
Yeah, the only problem is it's currently not sufficiently decentralized.
And if something goes
It creates a lot
wrong,
of outages.
yeah.
There's all the nodes belong to the same people, so kind of defeats the purpose.
Actually, I thought SoulPay was payment streaming, not
What?
POS. Like since their transaction speed is so fast, let's say you work a salary job, not a salary job, an hourly job where you get paid by the hour. You could have 1/60th of your pay get sent to you every minute. So like you clock in and you start working for 35 minutes, 35 minutes into your workday, you'd already be paid for 35 minutes of your time.
Okay.
So like stream payments of like making sure that your payments are being.
So that will never happen. Reason being, because companies have to make sure they have the equity, the cash to pay it off in that time frame, which it's not always the case.
Well, yeah, well, no, just because I don't think just because you're clocking in, it would make sure that it would be like, oh, you're gonna get paid. Like,
Then what is
not like you, just because you clock in, you're gonna have to work 8-10 hours, and like you could potentially just stop getting paid 4 hours in because there's no more funds in. At that point, you're not going to be able to work.
Yeah, you're just gonna stop working, and nothing's gonna get done for that.
Oh,
day.
you got 4 hours worth of work done. You need to be you must have had to provide value in that time frame. If you're talking about like a centralized company that didn't have the funds.
I'm talking about any any company. If it doesn't have the funds in that moment to pay you, it won't be able to pay you. But it does not mean it won't be able to come up with the funds a week from then to pay you for your week of work.
Oh yeah, you're talking about taking out like payments, like some type of, that's a loan against the.
What?
That's
What loan are you trying to do?
not paying someone instantly for their services is a loan.
Literally what we have right now.
I know, but that's how it is. It's a loan.
It's not a loan.
You're loaning your time
I don't agree.
and
with it.
expect for a payment in the future.
I see what you're saying. I don't agree with that statement.
That's what it is.
I don't agree. No, it's not.
Well, besides payment yourself, getting paid yourself, stream payment could be used for paying off utilities that you'll be using, like electricity,
As you use it.
as you use it. Yeah. So in this case, yes, you have to make sure that you have the funds in the bank to be able to have your services being provided.
I don't see it getting popularized.
It's a possibility. I don't know if it gets popular or not. I don't know, but I think it's a use case.
It is. I'm just saying. I don't think it's gonna catch on.
We'll see. Time will tell.
I'm pretty sure it won't.
I don't know. I'm glad that you have strong conviction about it. I don't know. I see a use case for it. There might be possibility for it.
There's a use case for it. I'm just saying it's not a good use case for it. At least for me.
I don't know. It seems like it could. It seems like someone might be able to have some benefit off of that. Who? I don't know.
Paying it off faster when you need to. If I could pay it off a month from now,
I don't know.
doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I'm simply saying the use case.
You're right. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, me as a person paying wouldn't want it.
That's what I thought SoulPay was.
No.
SoulPay just POS. Point of sale.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, it was never streamlining payments. They never advertised that.
All right.
How much time do we have?
We're at 35 minutes. You know what we should do?
What should we do?
We're gonna have to get a clock up here and just start the timer as soon as we start recording.
A timer.
Well, yeah, like a stopwatch. So you don't have to ask. Be like, oh, how much time we got?
Oh, I just look at it?
Yeah, you just look at it.
I feel like it's just such a common thing to do on podcasts. Every podcast I listen to is just like, how much time we got?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. See where they're at.
See where they're at.
See if they're far enough in.
Oh, I actually haven't. I obviously don't listen to as much podcasts as you. You listen to a lot, but
It's okay.
I have heard it, but I wouldn't say I've heard it a lot. And I thought of the time thing now because I thought like, oh, they're probably not asking all that often because they probably have like a little clock up there.
No,
somewhere.
that makes a amount of sense. That little clock, it just says how much time we've done.
And you're good.
Oh, perfect sense.
All right. So, what?
No, I think we could call it a short episode.
Oh, I got some more use cases.
You do?
Yeah, of course.
I wasn't prepared for that.
Short episode? First episode? Nah, 36 minutes.
Okay, what's your first?
Actually, it probably isn't 36 minutes.
It's probably a little less.
Yeah,
You're right.
I think we had this recording for a little while beforehand.
Oh yeah. What other use cases you have?
Yeah. So, we have the use case for distributed internet.
Helium.
Helium, yes, that's the one. Helium and also Filecoin, where
Yeah.
you're storing it. You're storing files on some computer, which is what the internet is nowadays.
I don't know if it's exactly that.
Yeah.
I guess. Not just storing. I wouldn't say just storing.
No, it's not. You're right.
It's having the
You're
ability
right.
to also pull up the information.
You're right. It is not just store. It is read, write, and
Store.
yeah.
I think it's like, yeah, it has more than one function. It has three at the bare.
All right. So,
Does it provide the ability to do all that, or just like
what do you mean?
we were talking about helium the other day, and you're saying that depending on the distance of the helium routers, depending on the costs. But those helium routers, let's assume they're connected, assume the payment's zero, just free transfer of information. That router, if it's producing Wi-Fi, am I limited to the amount of internet that has, like what data that has stored?
No. So you are only going. You would be using your currency. You would pay for files stored on other devices.
Okay.
So so this is what Filecoin is. Filecoin says, "Oh, I have 500 terabytes of storage here. Mm-hmm. You could store as much information as you want here in packets, encrypted, and only accessible by your wallet. But you have to pay me for the storage. So you pay like a one-time fee for like storing it there, and then anytime that you want to pull the information, you have to pay another like a request.
A request fee.
A request. Be like, oh, I need it. Send it to me.
Okay.
And then the helium would just be like, oh, it's the actual like payment of the movement from one router to the next router.
So it's not internet?
It is internet. Just internet.
Mm-hmm.
Internet works that way on a very centralized scale, where all the information being stored on Amazon Cloud or Azure, and then it's being transferred by Comcast or AT&T.
Is that how it works?
That's exactly how it works.
I don't know.
Yeah. So AT&T, Comcast runs the wires through like different locations.
Yeah, just the wires.
And the routers as well. At least they provide the routing service because you're buying the routers from them. And they connect you to different website through different what's it called, domains. But there's a protocol for that. And well, Amazon will be storing your files, and then whenever you want to reach Amazon, Comcast is pretty much, or whatever internet service provider you have, would be the one that would put you into contact with that person. It gives you the infrastructure to contact them.
Okay.
Yeah. The protocol that helps you reach them is like DHCP, dynamic. My bad, not DHCP. I'm rusty on it, but
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's more technical, and people won't like. It's computer language to readable.
Fine. I don't understand it. It's actually a lot more than what I thought it was for the internet.
Yeah. So
But I get you.
So what Helium would do would be like it would be taking up the place of
Amazon.
No, Helium would be taking up the place of the internet service provider.
So it'll be taking up, for example,
Comcast, Spectrum, AT&T,
whatever.
Verizon, whatever, all of them.
All of them.
And then Filecoin, or in this case, what it is, it's called IPFS. It stands for Interplanetary File System.
God dang.
Yeah, it's a really cool name. I like where it came up. Which that would be replacing the cloud as we know it today, which is Amazon and Azure. Or really, they'd have a good chunk of like storage of the market price for that, because they're not going to go anywhere.
Who?
Amazon AWS.
Oh yeah, and
Google Azure,
Yeah.
Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud also.
Google Cloud.
So like these big companies, they just have so much storage space.
You're gonna have to share.
I think they would gladly join this market and just own a big chunk of that market, but it decentralizes the market.
Oh, completely. It'll make it super
So
centralized.
they're gonna fight it for as long as possible, but
No, they're gonna win. These are billion-dollar companies that already have the storage.
no, they're gonna fight it as in they're not gonna want to join in on that market
Not yet
until they see diminishing returns, where they're like, oh, people are starting to hop on this.
Yeah.
We got to start allocating resources to IPFS.
I think that's further out than we think.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how far.
I never said I didn't know how far. I said I think it's further out than we think. I think it's further out in the 5 years.
No, I don't.
Before they start hopping on it, I think so.
I think 5 years would be like around the time where they'd be like, okay, well, you'd be seeing advertisement on it for sure. Or if they haven't done it so already to the move, you'd be seeing advertisement for like, oh, we're gonna start doing this soon. Like, get ready, it's gonna be big, it's gonna be huge. Is what they're gonna be saying. They're gonna be like,
I don't see
the world's moving to blockchain. Get ready.
I don't see that adaptation like that yet.
I don't know. That might just be me being optimistic.
I think that is you 100% being optimistic, but it's good. These are unique point of views right here. He's very optimistic. It's gonna take over in 5 years. I'm like, I don't think
it's gonna take over. I think it's gonna be embraced.
If Amazon and Google and Microsoft, all three of them, do what you just said, it's taking over. It's not being embraced. Those are the three largest provider of cloud storage.
They're coming for it.
Negative. I don't agree with you on that one. I say taking over with the way you put it. I don't think it will take over. I think we're going to be in the middle ground. We'll be in the middle. They start talking about it and then they build it up to it. Bezos won't be like...
They'll try to make it look like it's their idea.
100%.
Not be like, oh, like, we're kind of screwed. We got to do this.
Or...
Even though that might be what it is.
Or they create their own. Like
also
each one creates their own.
Also a possibility.
I think that's way more likely.
I don't know how that would sell. I don't know if it makes sense. We'll see.
It's literally how it sells now. Why does Apple have their own charger? That makes them money.
It makes them dinero.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Which they just switched back from USB-C on their Macs to the MagSafe 3.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm so mad. Because I bought my Mac and it has that and I hate it. And I love the MagSafe charger so much more. It's literally kind of frustrating how they do that. It was literally 1 year apart. Or like a year and a half apart.
And you're like, damn, if I only had waited a little bit longer.
Oh, well, my computer would have lasted an extra year and a half.
Yeah.
I got a little hot about that. And I got like, so I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
Fucking Apple.
That is
what it is.
Unfortunate. Well, I like how you announced tangent. You're like, quickly.
I feel like that should be our thing. We announce tangents. Y'all let us know if you like announcing tangents. If it's like a tangent.
I don't know. It might be a little hard for me to start announcing tangents. Tangent. I don't know. You just did it so naturally.
Our brains work a little different. So in theory, our brains work very different.
Like, quick announcement.
Tangents.
They're changing the chargers.
Damn, they did do that. I was upset, nonetheless, about that one.
Well,
yeah,
I do have one more use case.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of use cases that we're gonna see. They're gonna be being developed as they get along.
Yeah, no. Like a lot of these things are still early stage development. Like there's very few people on this planet working on this stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I meant like there's gonna be hundreds of different use cases added.
Oh yeah. We're just very briefly brushing the water right now.
Yeah.
We're
You're
feeling
dipping your big toe in the water.
Yeah,
you're trying to see if the water's cold or
hot. You're
hot.
getting a temperature check.
You're like, what's the other use case you had on there?
For healthcare and insurance and
We talked about
research.
We talked about insurance for things, not people.
Yeah. So
You said research. I don't understand that one.
okay, so we just finished. This actually works pretty well because we just finished talking about IPFS and like storing information on
Correct.
the blockchain. So essentially, your wallet would count as your type of identity. And having your let's say medical records all stored digitally, encrypted, and decentralized,
Anonymously or no?
it would be anonymous.
So to what degree though? because the hospital has to know who I am if I come inside.
Yeah, so you would need to sign. You would need to sign your confirm that your information would be your information with your wallet.
What if I'm dying?
What? What if you're dying?
Yeah, what if I'm being rushed in the emergency room and I can't do that?
No, well, I don't know. I don't know how you're gonna do it. I'm just saying, like,
Oh, okay, there has to be.
some type of confirmation of your wallet of your address.
I see these things with some loophole, with some very big hurdles.
Yeah, no, there's big hurdles for sure because the infrastructure that we have in place now has been around for decades, hundreds even of years even.
Oh no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like since
There's a lot of problems. For
no,
sure.
I meant like Web3 is all about you having control, ownership of your cash, assets, everything. Adding an anonymous layer to it is awesome, but if you try to put it like in a place where you need public records, it's harder.
Well, okay, so I guess I might have jumped the gun a little bit. Look, so after your medical visit, your information will be uploaded anonymously onto a bucket of information.
Yeah.
It would know that it will know all the chain itself, or in this case it might be AI, would know all your like your medical records, like your height, age, weight, genetic market, maybe like depends on if you had that, if you did that test or not. Like just to have certain information recorded. You won't necessarily need it right away, like because there'll still likely be medical records on file, like for certain places, as of now, because we still obviously use that very.
Yeah.
But essentially, your medical records would be uploaded onto the cloud, onto the Web3 blockchain, and whenever a researcher wants to gather a large pool of information, they know where to find it. They'll be like, oh, look.
Yeah, all this information up in the cloud. They just go, I need people with
age range of 45 to 60, 70, exactly.
And they'll get everyone from that group and just throw into the pool.
Into a bucket. Yeah, exactly. So you would do some research, and then and for that particular information that you're drawing upon, you would pay the blockchain transaction fee, which would distribute that fee to whatever bucket that you're drawing from. So let's say you're drawing information from people with a specific genetic marker saying that they're more prone to cancer. So if you're gonna be looking into those people, you should be paying those people for their information.
You don't pay for that information now.
Of course you do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know. They ask for people who are willing to be for it, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I'm sure they incentivize payments as well, but I'm just saying they try to not pay first.
Everyone tries not to pay.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I'm just saying, I don't know. Because I feel like if you have, example, cancer, you would want to be like, I'll throw my cancer up there so we can have.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You could probably like waive like, oh, I don't want any funding from this. Just reinvest the money into.
No. I don't think anyone should make money off of that.
People make money off of it.
I don't know. I'm talking about healthcare in general. We should find a way to make it like that. There's more of a cap.
Cap on
healthcare.
What do you mean by a cap on healthcare?
On big pharma.
Okay. I don't understand what you're trying to say.
What do you mean?
You're saying
okay, big pharma, right? So for an example, right now,
large pharmaceutical companies.
Very simply, Johnson & Johnson. They had the vaccine pulled. Why was it pulled? Because of getting blood clots. Before the vaccine, they had other issues where other healthcare tools and products that they released, and they did their harm and only had to pay a fine. Their fine was, for an example, $4 billion. They made $80 billion.
Yeah, but the issue that you're talking about right now doesn't have.
I understand that. I think helps.
I see the passion. I see the passion and the worry. Healthcare's not a scam. Healthcare saves people. Like that's what healthcare is.
No, healthcare also fucks
by definition, healthcare
also fucks people.
How?
What do you mean how?
Specifically, how does it fuck people? Because you could say, like in that last episode of Game of Thrones, this is a spoiler warning.
Okay, spoiler warning.
In the first episode of House of the Dragon, There's a medical procedure that was done for what is possibly that guy's first time. That guy probably did that medical procedure for the first time, but he was trying to save
the baby.
Yes. Obviously, he knew that he wasn't going to be able to save the mother's life.
Yes.
Because she was going to bleed out.
That was said. That was told, yes.
In that case, yes, someone did get screwed over, the mother.
Okay.
But in the long term, like where we are today, people get saved.
Yes.
So yes, there are going to be.
I'm not talking about those.
Okay,
I'm not talking about that.
That's why.
I'm talking about our current healthcare system. If you don't understand that.
Okay, no, I was just trying to make sure there's clarity in what specifically you're talking about. Because beforehand you were talking about the how much money Johnson & Johnson made and then how much they got sued for.
Yeah.
But then you
no, they did they didn't do sufficient medical research.
Okay.
And they probably got it. They didn't pay anyone for it. And none of those people who were affected, who they probably did the research on, didn't get anything for it.
Okay. And they still how are they allowed? How are they allowed to start releasing those products?
Because our government allows it.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. It's
so the policies that were in place.
Yeah,
for them to have to be able to check their research and release a product was not sufficient or adequately written, like well written enough for them to like be like certain that the product would be better than it promoted itself to be.
I think I have a slight disconnect with the pharmaceutical companies.
No, bro, the pharmaceutical companies is a shit show. Yeah. It's an absolute shit show. I'm well aware of that. I'm well aware of that.
Our healthcare system is the exact same shit show.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, and it's
healthcare
shit show.
It's a whole shit show.
Yeah, it's all a shit show.
But it's good overall. Like its overall arching objective is to be good.
I think that has skewed very wrong ways as of late.
I'm not going to argue that because I would say that that's likely true. However, what I'm saying about the blockchain is that it simply gives people the opportunity to provide more information and be incentivized to do so.
I feel like you got the message across to me. We're gonna be working on our communication skills. Don't worry.
This healthcare thing, we'll touch it back on.
We'll definitely have to go over this one again. This one all over the place at the end here with this healthcare issue. These boring ones kind of suck, bro.
I don't like it.
These kind of, I'm sure they're important. It is kind of boring.
Yeah, no.
We'll get healthcare specialists.
Yeah, that's you know what, you're onto something.
We'll get
some specialists on the board for that one.
We're not the right people for that.
We're not fully aware of all the nuances within the medical field.
Too many to count.
There's a lot.
We should have Alvaro on.
Alvaro would love to be on this. Yo, Alvaro, there's an official invite.
There's an official invite. You're a healthcare professional.
Yeah.
That's actually a great guest to have.
We'll see. If he doesn't want it, we'll find someone else.
Yeah, we have plenty. We'll find one. We'll find somebody.
I'm just thinking about how honored that guy is.
What?
Yeah. First episode, name call it. Be like, Alvaro, you're here.
Dog.
All right. Well, I think. Well, I was gonna say that I pretty much hit everything that I had.
Oh, I just want to know how much time we were.
Yeah. Doing. So we were at 55 minutes and 10 seconds.
So it'll be a little under an hour. Not bad.
Yeah.
If anything.
I think it's good. This is personally a podcast that I would like to listen to. Anything longer becomes a little bit more difficult for me.
He does I say shorter form content. He says I'm crazy. It's long as fuck. Maybe he's right.
He likes 3 hour long podcasts.
I devour them.
Any podcast he sends me is at minimum an hour and a half.
Yeah, no less.
And if he sends me a shorter podcast than that, it's not even a podcast. It's a snippet of the podcast and it's 10 minutes long.
It's a specific clip. Yeah, for sure.
He's like 5-10 minutes. Like, Alex will listen to this.
Yeah, that's how I
will listen to that.
That's how I get him roped into it, so then he can listen to the rest of it. But I think this has been our first episode for Sometimes Crypto.
Sometimes Crypto. Get ready for the clips. We will be posting clips.
We have an Instagram page.
Oh yeah,
it will be out.
It is out.
It is currently out. It will be out as well at that point in time with official logo. Maybe music on top of that. Yeah. There'll be music for the intro of this one for sure.
Yes.
If you do not hear music,
we'll get music.
We're gonna fight that guy.
We're gonna get music. schedule.
We want to post every Thursday, ideally. If not, Fridays is a possibility too.
Nah, we will be recording on Tuesdays.
We do record. Yeah, we record Tuesdays, post Thursdays.
So don't mess with us on Tuesdays. We're recording.
What are you talking about? This guy.
No, hit us up. It might be good conversation.
This guy.
I'm not gonna tell them the time. I'm not gonna tell them the time we're recording.
Why not? Yeah, they don't even know that time yet. It's late.
It's late. It's always
Not early.
It's not early. Depends on where you are on the.
Depending where you are.
It's all relative. All right. Well,
This is the first episode of Sometimes Crypto.
I hope you learned something. This is Alex getting ready to sign out.
I'm William,
And-
we'll catch you next week
Yeah.
for another episode
Of
the Unscripted Crypto Podcast.
That's What's Up.
Hey.